We were talking about sleep, wake, and sleep state, waking
Yeah,
state,
right.
and dream state.
Yeah.
So, if we examine the waking state, we have four things. I look at you, you are an object of knowledge. Then I have a knowledge about you. So then I express in the form of a thought that I know you. But behind all the three, there is one consciousness that is common. I know Anne, I know Jack, I know Philip. So objects are many, thoughts are many, perceptions are many, but consciousness is only one. Behind all of us, deeper inside, consciousness is one. In dream state, we have the same four things. Only difference is that objects are not steady. Here, the object for me, you are an object, you are steady. In dream, those objects are constantly changing. Another difference is that the sense organs are not active. Everything is happening in the form of a thought, feeling, imagination. But one thing is common, consciousness is the same. In waking state, in deep sleep, or in dream state. And now come to the sleep. The moment I wake up from sleep, I say I saw nothing. So I saw nothing, that is ignorance, that I don't know anything. One thing is sure, that object is nothingness. So there also we have an object that is nothingness or emptiness. Thought, the moment I came, there is a thought that I knew nothing, and consciousness is still there. So, consciousness is a common element. If I die, the consciousness is not there. So, there is a difference between the sleep and the death.
Okay.
So, so consciousness is not there in death. So it proves that consciousness is still there in deep sleep, whether I know it or I don't know. I know it or I don't know it. Consciousness is there. So our master says that consciousness which is present, never changes, continues for every day we pass through the waking state, sleep state, dream state, every day, every week, every month, years together, but still that consciousness never changes. And that consciousness is real self, which is never changing state of the, that is what the real self is. That needs to be understood. We have to examine. Every day we have variety of experiences. We have millions of thoughts, but still consciousness remains the same. It never changes. Just experience over these years, consciousness, that consciousness, our masters say, that is absolute existence, consciousness, and bliss. Means ananda means permanent happiness. And meditation or mindfulness is the discovery of that consciousness which remains the same after days, weeks, months, and years. I became going to be 62. Consciousness remained the same. So when I say I'm going to be 62, it means my body became. I'm referring to the body. I'm not referring to that consciousness. I had many experiences that made me upset, that were painful, that were very pleasurable. So they are experiences, but I am beyond that experience. That is consciousness. That consciousness, which is the real self, is same in the past, present, future, in the waking state, in the sleep state, in the dream state. That consciousness never goes into anxiety, never is stressed, never suffers. I may be suffering in the presence of the light, so nothing happens to the light. Light will remain as it is. Even if I am stressed or laughing, the light says, okay, do it. I'm simply present. Same thing, that real self is a presence, consciousness that never changes. So our master says, look at it. This real self or consciousness never rises, never sets. It never sets in the sleep state also. It is there. So that is why there is a difference between the sleep state and the death. That self is always there forever. That self is known in Eastern wisdom as Sat Chit Anand. It is self-effulgent. Light is self-effulgent. Example. Why? Why it is self-effulgent? That it gives light to all the objects I recognize, and it also gives the light to itself. That is the nature of the real self. And the discovery of that real self is what we say meditation, is mindfulness. It is not what the science explains. Science can better explain what is iPhone and Android phone. Science do not know, cannot explain. It is a subjective science. There is no branch of the science who deals with who am I. No doubt, you go into meditation, it can help you understand the physiological and biochemical changes. But consciousness never changes. There is no protocol to find out this consciousness. Though they talk of the whole Big Bang. Come on, Dave, there is no space, there is no hole. What you are talking about, Big Bang. So I'm not going there. Subjective reality. Eastern wisdom does not enter into the science. We say you do whatever you want to do. But we want to know who am I. So we understand consciousness remains same, homogeneous, only one throughout all my experiences at all locations, at all the times, in all conditions, with every object, with every people, place, and the things. That unchanging, eternal, all pervading consciousness is me. The same consciousness is you. There is no difference. So, Master gives a metaphor. You have 100 waves, but behind water is the same. So, when you look from the standpoint of wave, you are in, I am Girish. when you look from the standpoint of consciousness, we are essentially one and the same. For transactional reality, then you go on differentiating. Science always depends on dividing and perceiving. You are an, I'm Girish. You are women, I'm man. You are of this age, I'm of this age. You have this descendant, I have this. You see that? This is how the science works. DNA, differentiation. DNA is your DNA is different than mine. Your fingerprint is different than mine. But Eastern wisdom says, forget about this, find the common element. No, no, DNA is the same. No, DNA is not the same. Ask the science. Your DNA and my DNA is different. Science cannot see the oneness, that unity, that unitary consciousness. What is unchanging? So we have given a word to it for the sake of understanding. Sat, Chit, Ananda. It is one, but for the sake of understanding. Sat means truth or the existence. Chit means consciousness. And Anand means permanent happiness. Anand simply means joy from all the sides. Discovery of that consciousness inside. One, first we discover that inside us. Now I have realized the real self. Now I see the world from the standpoint of the real self. So what do I find? I find the real self is only one, everywhere. That is known as awakening. That is known as realization. That is known as realization. Take a little bit of love, ananda. So, when there is a permanent peace within, then there is a permanent happiness. That permanent peace and happiness becomes love. No, no, I love so many people. So we are understanding the last part, ananda, then we will understand consciousness and the existence later. So ask yourself whom we love. We love whom we offer food, we say we love. We work for someone, we say we love. We love our kids, children, we say we love. Is it really love? Love at first sight. We say I have a crush on a person and we get crushed after a few days or few months. Pay attention that love is emotional and mental dependence. Our masters gave a very deeper insight into this love. Another question that we should ask, are we totally unselfish in love or emotionally or mentally dependent? Means I have some expectation. If someone hates me, I don't love that person. Simple. And that is why we have a problem of relationship and divorce and etc. Another question to ask, why we love others? Love has to be unconditional. So why we love others? We love because we like someone. We like him or her. We want sense of security. We want some recognition. We love because others should love us. We have an expectation. We love because of the wealth, fame, and the recognition. All are mental and emotional dependence. There is nothing unselfishness in that. Can we say we love a person whether other love or do not love us? We are understanding the last word of Sat Chit Ananda. Real self is of the nature of Sat Chit Ananda. Our mind consciously, habitually, impulsively, instinctively expects love from others. Where we find comfort, we start loving that person. Just check it, examine it. In India, we say when we have a marriage ceremony, so we take a round, 7 rounds around the fire, where we chant some mantra and put a lot of items. So, according to the tradition, we say that this this pair, this couple, will continue to love for 7 births. What about the 8th one? So we have unconscious tradition everywhere in all the marriages, whether it is a marriage in Germany or France or India. We have created a different wrong notions. Now comes what is real love. First thing, there should not be any emotional and mental dependence because it causes the attachment. And attachment causes the likes and dislikes. That is what the love at first sight. It is not love at first sight, it is attachment at first sight. Crush at first sight. Come on, are you crushed by the body of a person or a speech of a person or that person? So, what is real love? We love for the sake of love, not for the sake of emotional or mental dependence. We love without any expectation. That is the first way to understand the love. Another point. I was amazed when I used to go to my masters. There were hundreds of disciples, and every disciple makes the same statement that my master loves me the most, including me. Everyone, more than 500 disciples. You hear from everyone, even now. Think of that love. How come that human being who is a master, whose home everyone claims that he loved me the most? It is because he knows the real self. He founds the same real self in every human being. He never taken any consideration of the wealth or the donation or the age or the gender. Irrespective of that, his mind was full of love from the real self equally to everyone. Now, the main thing comes. Do we love ourselves? Yes, we love ourselves. Is it unselfish? Yes, it is unselfish. I may have 100 faults in me and still I love myself. See that? I may have 100 faults. I may be suffering from 100 problems, but still I love myself. Unselfish. We have so many faults and still we love ourselves without any cause. Now ask yourself how much we love ourselves. No limit, unlimited. I can sacrifice anything for the sake of my love to myself. Another question asks, how long we love ourselves? This is a stupid question. How long? I continue to love. There is a continuity. Ask our mind. If we ask our mind, do we love? That is continuous for any person, for anything in the world outside. Answer is no. So there is a continuity of love for ourselves. There is a continuity of love for ourselves. Now comes the two things. I love money. For example, we love money not for the sake of money, but for the sake of myself. Simple. If I love dollar, then I will not spend dollar. So I love money for the sake of myself. Here the master says that real self is of the nature of love. That is why you love yourself, to find that real self, which is of the nature of love, that gives you the joy from all the sides, is the discovery of meditation. And what is that real self? Pure consciousness that never changes, that remains same, that has a presence in waking state, in dream state, in sleep state. Huh? Years after years passed, we passed through hundreds of bitter and beautiful experiences. That consciousness has never changed, and that is our real self. That is what is Satchidananda. We say absolute existence, consciousness, and bliss. That is why we have taken up the topic of waking state, sleep state, dream state. Because we see one thing is common in all the three states: one, that never changes; two, that remain present in all the conditions with variety of experiences, meeting different conditions of life, sorrow in the suffering, pleasure in the pain. That consciousness remains the same. It is all pervading, it is unchanging, it is my real self. Let us start our practice now. Eyes are closed.